Our topic is API security. What are the vulnerabilities we're talking about when we have to think about securing our APIs? Why is this such a big issue?
There's a lot of different vulnerabilities in API that will allow an attacker to take over an account.
With websites, you kind of know what you have. You say you have an UI, you code what you call. But then on the flip side, there's a difference between what you publish and how it's actually implemented.
The problem is that APIs are aggressively changing, right? They have much more functionality. By design, they're exposing more the internal logic of the API. Now you can see actually the business logic, right, behind the scenes.
We've been investigating some policy as code options using things like Rego and OPA, which allows you to declare your authorization in a separate file that's then loaded as config. Have you witnessed things like that as a way of decoupling authorization from code?
The fact that you kind of proactively approach and review your authorization proactively, that's a good thing. I think the problem is that we're seeing a lot of issues on the authorization level that it's very hard to enforce.
Okay, so we got a new question from Philip Bayer. Thinking about this topic as a hiring manager, how different is the skill set in API security from traditional application security? I like this question.
You can adapt, you can learn, and you can improve. There's a lot of places like OWASP provides great info about what are the top threats, examples, and attending webinars or podcasts like these to kind of learn about the space.
The key requirement to get someone even started with API security is show me that you know how to create requests, that you know how to authenticate. Show me the time that it takes you to get to the hello world, essentially. That's a basic skill.
So you touched on microservices. What is it? What's the confluence of events here? Why is this in your mind? Why is this such a big issue at this point in time?
I think in the last 3, 4, 5 years, SaaS kind of been, as exponential growth. Mobile apps been exponential growth. The amount of functionality you can do, withdraw money without a credit card, deposit a check, scan it. So that attack surface has been expanded tremendously.
We are going to be bringing on our best bad ideas in our game, Department of Yes. Contract an API gateway and let it handle all your security concerns. Why is that a great idea? Nir?
I think that a vendor that actually knows how to do APIs, they must be experts in security. Plus, I think it provides some job security in the pandemic days, and that can grow their business.
When a user wants to access to your API, they must call your support number, wait on hold, and request access from an agent. Then after 7 to 10 business days, they receive a single-use access key in the mail that they can use to make an API call.
I think, token leakage or account takeover, you cannot collect many tokens because you need a human actually responding, verifying who you are. So it will prevent that definitely. If, every vendor get asked frequently, what do you do for APIs? And suddenly you have a brand that has a better trust brand or security. And obviously the competitor will acknowledge that, and security is a competitive advantage.
I think that you need to combine approaches for bug bounty programs. We have a bug bounty program. It's restricted, but it's with a third-party vendor that opens up the bug bounty program. So it's taking what is externally exposed, having more people looking into that, but also taking the internal people and rewarding them for identifying security issues.
I think things, APIs or a service become popular not for how much it's secured, it's for how much it's convenient, how much it's good. It's becoming popular, and security holes kind of come after the fact, right? It's popular, suddenly it's interesting for an attacker to look at the API. So definitely it's not becoming popular because it's secured.
I think that the activity of pen testing is something that it's disconnected from private or public. I think what is more important is the business context of what you're trying to attack.
Good point.
A lot of incidents happens because suddenly someone exposed a token in one of the responses accessible to anyone, and people can start collecting tokens. So inventory the entire API in granular details, request and response, kind of first, I think kind of the very first step.
Yeah, I think that democratizing API security is the worst idea. If you allow everyone to publish whatever they want with no governance or any gates in the process, you don't really have the way to validate that things are done right.
What if we functioned without APIs, or can we function without APIs? what happens?
Well, we can. My daughter functions with no APIs, I can tell.
That's a good point.
No.
If you want to start looking at API security, and I think you should if you have APIs, I think the OWASP Top 10 is a great source that's finally standardized like kind of major things. I think you should dig into the details.
Goodbye. Thank you.